you have been making waves on TikTok, on Instagram, repurposing over 3 million videos.
That blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie, that blew my mind. Yeah. So the idea of repurpose is to take your content, allow creators to publish to one of their go-to platform, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and then our software will automatically grab it and distribute it everywhere else: Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. So you're just focusing on one platform, but you're still getting exposure across all the platforms. I remember sitting on my parents' couch with a piece of paper and I just drawing blocks. Like, okay, this YouTube can do this and then whatever. I was drawing block diagrams and I was like, normally you have to ask them for their username and password. And some customers don't want to give their YouTube name and password. We're working on a way where you can just send them a link. They connect all their social media channels to your account so that they don't have to give you the password, but they authenticate to repurpose directly. Stuff like that to make it easier, make the process easier for agencies to get their clients on board.
What about you, Hani? You talk about evolving the product a lot, but how do you evolve yourself as an entrepreneur? Like, what do those days to days look like? And
That's a very
how do you attack
question.
your own personal growth? Because if you're leading a company, what are some of those things that you're doing to challenge yourself, to take yourself to the next level so you can be innovative, be a better leader?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good question. I don't spend a lot of time on that, but that's something that I recognize that I need to. Like now, like you said, as a team grows bigger, you have to be a leader. Even if you don't know all the answers, your team comes to you for an answer. You have to, you have to make decisions quickly, and you have to, guide people in the right way. But yeah, that's something I'm realizing now. Like we weren't always at 20 people. We were like me and a developer, and then became 3, then became 4. But recently we've hired a lot of people to join the team. So I'm at that stage now where I need to be aware of how I'm acting, how my team perceives me and my actions, because it makes a difference, right? How if something happens and I freak out, then the whole team's gonna freak out. So if something happens and I'm like, all right, don't worry guys, we got this. We just gotta do this. So yeah, I'm becoming more aware of it right now.
Do you find like within circles of because at your space, your caliber of being a CEO, right? You must hang out with other founders as well too. Do you find they also struggle with that, taking a step back off the product and thinking, I gotta invest time in myself. I gotta invest time in how can I be a better leader? How do people operate at that level where you're running a high functioning product like Repurpose?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I look back and I'm like, man, how did we get here?
It just went by so.
It went by so quickly.
Yeah.
But now it's when I do talk to other entrepreneurs, it's the same. They're usually my background's technical, and I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. So in the beginning, it was a great thing because when there was a problem, I'd jump in, or I could piece ideas together really quickly. Now, when there's a problem, my instinct is to jump in, but I don't even know the code anymore. It's to the point where I wouldn't be able to do anything in there. But B, it's just a mentality shift. I say, okay, it's not how am I going to fix this? It has to be more who's going to fix it? Who's responsible for fixing it? How do we put the right systems in place? I'm writing a whole lot of SOPs now. I find myself every day I'm writing something.
SOPs, man.
I hate them, but I love them at the same time. When I'm done writing, I'm like, man, this is amazing. This is going to be, I never have to think about this ever again. But when you're doing it, you're like, oh man,
It's
what
so
a chore.
dreadful.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm finding myself thinking who's going to do it? Which team? Do I have the right people in the team? Maybe we need another person in this role. Starting to think, again, stepping out of the day to day. And when a situation happens, I'm like, okay, who's going to handle it? Is there an SOP for it? And, how do we prevent it from next time? Maybe we need another person, another support person, another developer, another whatever. So yeah, I'm starting to think things differently than it used to be. Yeah, let me just jump in and help the dev team. Now I'm like, I can't. As much as I love to, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, leadership is extremely key.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
It's
It's
hard.
hard, especially when, like I said, I'm a technical background, so I love geeking out on like API documentation and like this cool technology and cool AI. And I was like, I still do that. I give myself some space to like tinker with like new technology enough to like, keep my finger on the pulse. So like, okay, this is a new tech. Maybe we can integrate this, but it's not as much as before. It has to be like just a little bit, and then okay, hand it off to the experts to implement.
This podcast is brought to you by Lather. Lather is a men's grooming line focused on using natural ingredients along with their invincible line. I highly suggest it. It makes you smell damn good.
What are some of those challenges of like leading people, like for people who are building teams like from day one? As you reflect back, like now 20 people plus growing, where do you see like your leadership skills evolving to? And if you could look back from where you started and the people listening, because we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs listen to our show. What are some of those things you can tell them to start early? Hey, start doing this to work on those leadership skills. So even if you are technical, you should be continuously thinking about this in conjunction with being the tech guy coding and building the platform.
Yeah, that's a great question. If I look back, I would say like getting the right people early. Like I've made mistakes where I've hired the wrong developer in the beginning. We literally spun, wheels are spinning and nothing's getting done for 4 months, and then you're like, all right, I got to cut the cord now. So if you got to cut the cord, cut it early. Like if you have the wrong person on your team. But for me, like it's a mentality of, I think I mentioned earlier, my cousin taught me this thing recently. He's like, it's who's going to do it, not how. Like the question you should ask yourself is, and when you're small, you can't do that, obviously. But as you're starting to grow, I got to think, okay, whose responsibility is this? Who's taking ownership of this? Okay. It's not me. Like as a CEO, I have to be able to rely on a layer of below me on my team that are responsible for each division. So once you start thinking like that, again, not first day or second day, but when you have 2 or 3 people, you guys start thinking, okay, who's responsible for this? Not how am I going to solve this problem? Who's going to solve this problem?
It's like being like a coach.
Like you can't jump on the court and start like
you gotta have a playbook
on it. Yeah,
you gotta know who your strengths, the stars are, like where to position them, what plays to run, which day to run those plays.
Yeah,
like a defense, like another competitor coming in the mix.
That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy. I love that.
We're going up against this. Okay, we gotta get our defense, which is like a feature or some sort of like marketing tactic you gotta use, right? Yeah. So I guess like being a CEO is like being a coach, more so. And like readjusting your offense and defense each and every single day with like a whole different squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost actually, I would say even like a GM maybe.
Like you're like a Masai pretty much.
Because you have to like pick the people to play
in the role, right? And be able to like give them like a 10-day contract and like, nip it in the butt as soon as you see, hey, you ain't cutting it. You ain't cutting it anymore, So
yeah. And having like good leaders on your team too, like
good generals.
Hiring the head of growth has been like greatest move because it freed up a lot of my time. He's responsible for all the growth activity, including the marketing and the support, and he manages who gets hired, and it just took off like a whole. I was approving every single email, every single video that went out. I was like, I can't look at all this stuff. It's like, and if I do look at it, it's like, yeah, it looks good. Like I'm not giving it enough justice to look at it. So somebody like. It literally took half my workload away by just managing those 2 departments. And I was managing, the operations and also managing the product manager who manages the dev team. So I still had my finger on the pulse because we're building a whole new platform and there's some big decisions to be made there. And so I'm still involved in that from a high level, but it freed up my time to think that way. So hiring like not just people to execute, but people who are thinkers, like strategic thinkers who can say, okay, I can lead this part of the company or the team, and that's important.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes great CEOs. I think they're great recruiters more so than anything, because you can probably come up with like a B+ product, but if you got A+ players working on that product, you can compete with a product that was already good to begin with, right? So I think that's what I'm taking away from this is like you got to be a great recruiter of talent and being able to see through, okay, this person might not be a good interviewer, but I can see something within them that they can actually do this job. They can lead people, they can delegate, they can actually bring something where I can just be hands off and I just actually get the reports and status updates of what they're doing to make sure things are going well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where you need to be. You need to have hands off. Things get done without you asking it to get done, and you get notified when you really need to get notified. Like when there's something that's really beyond everyone's control, that it comes to you. But
Yeah.
you have the right team to deal with it, and almost like enough buffer between the customers and you.
And you, the challenge just comes like, okay, how can I trust these people with my baby? Because the way you're making it sounds like repurpose is like your everything. So it's like giving it to someone, be like, okay, run with it, take care of it, and make something out of it.
Yeah, I in the beginning, support was hard for me. Like
Yeah.
hiring support was hard because I knew the software inside out, so I knew how to address all the technical issues, and the person who we hired didn't at the moment. He was just learning, and but I hated doing support. And not hate it. I loved talking to the customers. I actually love having conversations with the customers. What took me down was like, there was something in me, like if I couldn't help that person, I felt like I was letting them down. I was like, and it would really affect me. I was like, oh, this person's disappointed. They had a problem and I couldn't help them, right? And that was especially in the beginning. I was like, I wanted to help everybody.
Yeah.
And I was like,
You're the savior.
yeah, but I was like, it was like, it was, I don't want to say depressing, but it was bringing me down. Like I wouldn't get joy. Like I would get joy when I have an idea and I see it come to life. Yes, we just released a new feature. I'm so excited. I don't get excited about how much customers we have. I get excited about new features because it's going to help so many people. And then I get one bad or negative comment in a support chat, and I'm like, then I go in, I dive in, I'm trying to figure out how to help this person, and then it just brings like the energy down. And I found like I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I need someone to take over support so I can, otherwise I'm just going to be going down this rabbit hole of like be down, emotionally down. Where
Did you see that as like a reflection of you? Because
yeah,
for you to take that
in the beginning, it's like I let this person down, or
Yeah.
I know the software is not perfect. I know
Yeah.
every software has glitches, has issues. We connect to 6, 7, 8, 10 different social media platforms. If the Facebook server goes down for 10 seconds, our software can't post to it. Customers, hey, why did it fail to Instagram? Well, it was not our fault. It was anyway, there's a million things that can go wrong because it's complicated integrated system.
Yeah.
But I take it personally. Like you said,
It's like it's Hanny's fault.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, I let this person down. And it's not like, oh no, I lost a customer. It's like, it's not a money thing. It's like a personal thing. Like
It's like a trust. They trusted
they trusted
you
me. They
and
signed up for this. They tried it. They're disappointed. I got to make it better.
yeah.
And we do improve, but in the beginning I was taking way too personal, and I'll be like, and it'll be a distraction. Like it'll be like one small thing that would go down. We're trying to build something amazing here, and I'm like, I end up shifting my focus to that one issue that only one customer had, and I spent like half a day on it. I was like, wait, that's not good use of my time. So I needed to put that buffer between me and customer support, and we have the right. Now we have 6 people doing support, but at the time it was one person. He was very good. I trained him really well. Like I showed him all the tricks and how to check all the logs and this, and so you can really help the customer. And that's been great because I don't have to get into support ever again. We have enough people in there that know what they're doing, and if it needs help from the technical developers, it goes to the product manager, then goes to developers, then it comes to me if nobody can figure it out, which is rarely the case.
Yeah.